Dr. Codgy, welcome indeed to another edition of the Irish at Home and Abroad. Now, don't forget later on in the programme, we're crossing over once again to Manchester to join Martin Logan, who has lots of stories featuring the Irish community right across the UK. But this week we're in Achill, which is Ireland's largest island, and it's known as the Adventure Island. And there's so much to see and do for the tourists, and we're better to find out more about it than in the local tourist office with the tourism officer, Sean Malloy. Sean, how is tourism doing generally on Achill Island?
Well, over the last couple of years, we've seen a big increase, especially last year. You know, we have the Wild Atlantic Way here, we have the Blue Way, and of course the Green Way comes not only to Achill now, but from this summer on, it goes right into the heart of Achill as well. So all those factors, all combined, has given us a huge boost in the last few years, and the future is looking bright at the moment. So that's great to see as well.
You run quite a number of events to attract tourists throughout the year.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on the number of festivals, and it's not only ourselves here, but there's lots of smaller committees right through Achill. Last year, I think we had over 90 days of festival days. So some of those were smaller festivals, small local ones, and then we had some pretty large events as well. There's the half marathon, which takes place in July. This year, added to that, then there's the Irish National Sheepdog Championships. That's happening in July as well. That's going to be a big event. And then we have the Harp Festival, which is 2 years old, but it's gone from strength to strength. It's a huge success. The Achill Quest takes in about 12 or 1400 people, which is basically an adventure race, a triathlon that takes place in September. So lots of, and Féile na Mara, which is our flagship event. That's really about providing family-friendly events, lots of entertainment, lots of activities for families. But not only that, then it's celebrating the fact that Achill is an island, and it's celebrating the life by the sea.
And of course, sometimes we forget that it actually is an island. I know a fabulous bridge here as you enter Achill Island, and yeah. I know people sometimes ring you asking about the ferry time.
Yeah, we would have probably up to about 100 inquiries a year looking for the ferry times. Yeah, so it's not uncommon. When I took this job first, I was kind of a bit surprised with it, but no, it's a regular occurrence. So we really have to tell everybody that we do have a bridge, the Michael Davitt Bridge. It's in its third incarnation now, the present one we have.
Well, we've just celebrated St. Patrick's Day, and I know one of the unique events that takes place here, probably than anywhere else in Ireland, is there's a great tradition of pipe playing on Achill Island, but particularly around St. Patrick's weekend. Yeah,
we have 5 village pipe bands here, and we have an overall Achill pipe band as well that draws its members from each of the pipe bands. They are currently the All-Ireland champions for the 2nd year in a row, but the tradition of the bands and the pipe bands, the tradition of the bands actually goes back before the pipe bands. The pipe bands came in the 1940s, but previous to that we had fife and drum bands, and the original St. Patrick's Day parade in Achill took place in 1882. And in 1882, the priest at the time that was attached to Ducanella Church asked for the parishioners to do something special to celebrate the 1450th anniversary of St. Patrick arriving in Ireland. So the men of Dua, they decided that they were going to have a little parade. There was a few parades in the world at that stage, but they decided to set up a band. The actual big drum was actually built by a cooper called Tom Vesey in the village. They got some flutes, they made some other drums, and they marched from Dua to Ducanella. I suppose the amazing thing about that is that every single year since then, nothing has changed. The house that the band started from, it's called Molly's. It used to be the furthest village back on the island. It's not anymore. This house is further back. But from Molly's, every St. Patrick's morning at 8 o'clock, the band will march to Pulla Church first, and then to Ducanella Church and back again, and joined with all the other pipe bands as well. One of the biggest spectaculars that we have is outside Ducanella Church. All of the 5 village bands, they actually play together.
Well, we're in the local tourist office here on Achill Sound, beautiful building. Your role here as tourism officer, Sean, a busy role, and you have a number of staff as well.
Yeah, we have. We're supported by Pobble on the Community Services programme, and we're also supported by the local community employment, so FOS, TUS and the RSS scheme. So we're quite a busy office. We're involved in the organisation of festivals, we're involved in tourism promotion, in providing tourist information services in 2 offices. We have one here in Achill Sound and another one down in Kiel. And basically any ways that we can see fit to promote and get the word about Achill out there, we'll try and get involved some shape or form or other.
The first thing that visitors to Achill notice is its wild and spectacular landscape. 5 blue flag beaches, towering cliffs, a pristine environment and crystal clear waters surrounding our shores. It's been the source of inspiration to a long list of artists and writers of all levels, from enthusiastic amateurs right up to the Nobel Prize winners. Some people come here for the relaxed and laid-back atmosphere, while many others come here to fulfill a sense of adventure that the wide open spaces provide. Without doubt, Achill can be as relaxing or as exhilarating as you choose it to be. But hidden in plain view of the modern Achill lies the historic landscape that supported our ancestors for more than 5,000 years. A paddle dating from about 3000 BC was found near the Cronnog near Ducanella. Cronnogs were built in water, thus forming artificial islands. While a few stood isolated, most shared the landscape with far older monuments such as burial mounds or cairns, possibly promoting notions of continuity with past generations. This is especially true here in Achill. Spread across Achill Beg, the Atlantic Drive and the southern slopes of Shilmore Mountain is a wide array of promontory forts and prehistoric tombs. The presence of these people would have brought major changes to the landscape of the area, which at the time would have been heavily forested. They brought crop cultivation to Achill, requiring the clearing of forest for cereal crops, and also built walled fields for livestock. It's estimated that Achill had a population of between 500 and 1,000 people at this time. The name O'Malley is still common in Achill today, and the original O'Malley clan has had links to the area since at least the 12th century. The best known member of this family was Gráinne Whale, or Grace O'Malley, the legendary pirate queen. Under her leadership, the O'Malleys controlled the waters of the western seaboard, imposing taxes and levies on all ships passing through their territory. Gráinne Whale's castle in Kildownet was built about 1429, roughly 100 years before the birth of Gráinne. As a child, she most likely lived on nearby Clare Island, and was probably educated to a high standard for the time, since she spoke in Latin with Queen Elizabeth in 1593. Despite her life full of adventures, Gráinne lived to a ripe old age, and she died of natural causes in 1603 at Rockfleet Castle. One of Achill's most famous historical sites is that of the Achill Mission, or the colony at Dugert. In 1831, the Protestant Reverend Edward Nangle founded a proselytizing mission at Dugert. The mission included schools and cottages, an orphanage and a small hospital and a hotel. The colony was very successful for the time and regularly produced a newspaper called the Achill Missionary Herald. He expanded his mission into Muilon, where a university was built. In this building, Bible readers were trained to teach the Bible in Irish. The crown jewel of Achill's historical landmarks is definitely the deserted village at Shlievemore. It's a haunting reminder of times past. Its last permanent residents left shortly after the Great Famine. Set at the foot of the south-facing slope of Shlievemore Mountain, the village consists of the remains of almost 100 traditional stone cottages. They are set either side of an ancient pathway, almost all aligned in the same north-south direction, and they occupy one of the most sheltered areas of Achill Island. The village, in fact, was actually 3 villages: Thor, Thorrewock and Fahia. Thought that the village was occupied during several different stages in history, with some of the buildings being perhaps constructed on top of previous dwellings. Thorough study of the field systems surrounding the deserted village, archaeological investigations and historical research has established that settlement dates at least to the Anglo-Norman period of the 12th century AD. In the 1850s, its residents moved to the nearby villages of Dua and Pulla. Its most recent period of habitation came to an end in the early 20th century, when the cottages were used for boleying by the local population. As boley houses, they were occupied during the summer months, when the cattle would be grazed on the mountainside.
I'm joined now by Colin McLaughlin, manager of the Óstán Oileán Acla. A fantastic location here, Colin.
The hotel here is situated right in the entrance there to Achill Island. It's a lovely picturesque scenic area we have around us here, right next to the sea.
And when did the hotel open?
The hotel now it opened in 1999, so we're on the run about 19 years, and it's been very successful, thank God.
Yeah. What kind of facilities have you at the hotel?
We cater for anything from large functions to small functions, whether it be weddings to birthday parties, and we also have 25 rooms upstairs, so as well as a fully functional bar.
I could well imagine that weddings on a day like today on Achill Island, you couldn't ask for a better day to be here. Must be fantastic for weddings.
It is. It's fantastic with all the scenery we have around us. It's brilliant for pictures for brides, and we try our best to make everyone happy.
What's the busiest time of the year for you?
Our busiest time of the year will be our summer season from July and August, when most tourists will come. From blue flag beaches all the way to the highest cliffs in Europe, we've some scenery around here now.
And I know now the last weekend you recently had the rally, the car rally, and you have a lot of festivals coming up throughout the year, so obviously they have a great impact on the hotel here.
It is, of course. It brings a lot of tourists in, and even for the locals to watch. We had a brilliant weekend there last weekend with the Mayo Rally, Stages Rally, and with events coming up in the summer like the Seafood Festival. We have Achill Yaw Sailing Festival. We've plenty going on all over the summer.
Lovely. Well, continued success at the hotel here, Cathal.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're very welcome back to part 2 of the programme, where we're here in the heart of Achill Island at Ireland's smallest pub in Achill. And we're going to meet a group of very talented young musicians from Óstán Acla who are going to entertain us, and also to meet the proprietor of this wonderful pub. Well, the fabulous Tom Cafferty. Tom, it's lovely to be here in Linus. Is this definitely Ireland's smallest pub?
Oh, without a shadow of doubt, Henry, it's Ireland's smallest pub and most traditional pub. And we're keeping the old style, or trying to keep it as best we can, with no radios, no television, no phone, no food, and men must talk. So it leads to good chat and good talk and plenty of good conversation. And we prefer if the women would sit down low and the men could sit at the counter, and talk down to them, rather than the other way around, But we're trying to carry that on. It's getting more difficult, as you know yourself. Pubs are going through a bad patch, but we're fighting away good yet. We're still keeping going.
You must have tremendous evenings here, Tom.
Ah, we do. We have crack. The ceilings are high and there's great acoustics, and it lends itself to good singing. And people that fancy themselves come in to sing a song, and then people who have never sang in public will come in and sing a song and feel good after having done it, A fella said to me one day here, he said, it's better than having sex. And his wife agreed with him after she sang the song herself, that's the way it is, yeah.
And obviously it's a magnet for tourists that come to Achill Island.
Well, it is, because we have a lot of memorabilia and stuff on the walls here, and even there's an old sign over there which belongs to this girls' school down there in Bunnacar, and it's the old Irish writing, which is gone now, and it's nice. Some of the older people would remember it, and they'd say, is that such a word now? Because the Achill Irish is sort of different to the Connemara Irish or the Donegal Gaeltacht Irish, and we have our own sort of unique cultural thing here. But people do come in and like to see it and remember things, And then in olden times too, Achill, of course, was a great place in the 60s and 50s and 60s. And a lot of these people come back and say, oh yeah, nothing has changed. It's the same old place, Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how long have you been here?
I have been here. The pub was closed for 25 years, from 1976 until about 1999, and we put a new thatch roof on it and done it up, and of course we had to put in toilets, with regulations, health and safety and sanity and all that, so we had to put in toilets. Before that we used to go around the back and up the big field up the back there, but we had to put in toilets, and we redone it up in 1999, and reopened it, and it's going since. You know, we had a great woman here that ran it for a long time, Brigitte Gallagher up the road there. She's retired now, but she was a character herself. I headhunted her, and she came back from England. She ran it in her own inimitable style and put her own mark on it. You know.
Sarah, that was a fabulous group and a beautiful song, Oscailga.
Yeah, that's a local ballad group, Henry, that we have here in Achill. We've many great singers, but that particular group are called Lark, and it's made up of Lorraine McNulty, Anne Farry, Roisin McNulty and Cian McNamara. So LARC, Lark, they call themselves.
Fantastic. And the name of the song?
So the name of that song was Molly na Guach na Quinlan, which means Molly Quinlan of the Ringlets.
Fantastic. Sarah, everywhere you go on Achill Island, you hear about Scoil Acla. Who and what is Scoil Acla?
So Scoil Acla is a branch of Comhaltas Ceoltóirí Éireann, and we host year-long events here in Achill. We have winter classes for children, we have Session Ceol, but we also are most famous for our Scoil Sowery, which runs during the summertime. And Scoil Acla was first founded way back in 1910, so it's Ireland's oldest summer school, and it was revived in 1985. And I suppose we are here now, another generation, so it would have been our parents maybe that were involved in the founding of the branch in 1985, and we're here now ensuring that the branch goes on from generation to generation. And we're hosting our summer school this year from July 28th until August 4th, and it's a dynamic programme of events.
And who's it aimed at then?
So all ages really, Henry, from 6-year-old children all up to no age limit at the top. And we sometimes have classes for just adults, like here in the winter time we have a mixed instrument class for just adults, and also in the summertime we also have some classes which are just for the adults. But we get a wide variety of people that come to Achill. Because the summer school, I suppose, has such a diverse range of classes available, not just instrument classes, there's also singing classes, there's dancing classes, there's a writer's workshop, Gaelic Acla classes, which teaches the Irish of Achill, and a whole host of other events. But we have a great website, scoilacla.ie, and it's kept up to date regularly with lots of information.
And of course people will be online bookings and all that to be starting shortly.
That's right, so we have a booking form on our website, and that's open now, and people can book their classes and pay and reserve their place. Some classes, such as the new additions this year, the piano accompaniment and the guitar class, have limited numbers. We try to ensure we have a good pupil-teacher ratio in the classes, just to make sure, you know, that everyone's receiving a really good week's tuition. So for the summer school, we encourage people to get online and to book and have all their arrangements made before they come to Achill.
Getting away from Scoil Acla now, the traditional music scene in Achill Island itself, how is it?
It's very vibrant, I have to say. Like, there's so many generations of people that play music here in Achill. We have everything from the pipe bands to traditional music to folk groups and ballad groups. You know, everything. There's a really rich heritage and culture of music here on this island, and everyone's very proud of that as well, and we like showing it off to everyone, you know, and people who come here say that Achill's a very special place.
So Sarah, I'll let you introduce the young musicians.
Yeah, so we have a great group of young musicians coming up here now, and they recently represented Connacht in the Creevna Heron Scoring and O competition, the All-Ireland final, and they really made us proud and did a fantastic job. So they're going to play a few reels now called Jenny's Picking Cockles is one anyway.